Alrighty, well good afternoon everyone and welcome back to another Wednesday live stream with Elvis the Croc. We've been doing this for weeks and weeks now, but we're not going to stop because you guys enjoy it too much. Elvis is one of our most spectacular animals that we have here at the Reptile Park. We're getting him, we're feeding him quite a bit these school holidays. And so we thought, why not again today, live stream it so you can all watch at home, as well as everyone that's visiting with us here at the Reptile Park, enjoying the last few days of the school holidays. Now my name's Jake, I'm one of the reptile keepers here at the park. I'll be doing the feeding for you here this afternoon. Dan's over there, he'll be doing a bit of filming on the camera, getting in nice and close. And then we've got Brandon and Kane over in the corner as well. I hope those guys don't get involved in the show, or it means it's gone horribly wrong. And that is not what you want when you're working with an animal the size of Elvis. Now Elvis is a saltwater crocodile, and they're also sometimes called estuarine crocodiles or Indo-Pacific crocs. They're all the same thing, but what this is the world's largest living species of reptile. A really big male saltwater croc could hit 6 meters in length and weigh anywhere up to 1,000 kilos. Now it is extremely important to remember that a saltwater croc does not need to be 1,000 kilos or 6 meters long to be considered dangerous. Any saltwater croc in excess of 2.5 to 3 meters in length, more than capable of causing a human fatality. Now Elvis here, he's about 4.6 meters, so I will let you do the math yourself. They are an incredibly dangerous animal, and in saying that, they're also a very, very easy animal to avoid, and we'll go into that in just a moment. But before we do, a bit about Elvis himself specifically. One thing we get asked constantly all day, every day, is how old he is. And to be honest, we don't exactly know ourselves. He's a wild-caught croc, as are most big captive crocs right around the world. Caught out of the wild because they're typically deemed a nuisance or rogue crocodile. That typically happens when they get to a really large size and they pose a particular threat to human life. So he was removed from his environment and he was placed into a crocodile farm. Now once he ended up there, well, he was a big handsome croc. They wanted to use him as a breeder to make lots and lots of baby crocodiles. Now unfortunately for the females that encountered Elvis, he had other ideas. Didn't want any part of that. He wanted to live on his own, live a bachelor life. And so he actually killed 2 females while he was at that croc farm. Quite romantic. And they quickly worked out, he's going to be no good in a farm, and let's send him down to the guys at the Reptile Park to become a display croc, to live here, to educate everyone that visits the park about the species. And he is a fantastic ambassador for his species. He is a big, handsome croc. I mentioned before, he's about 4.6 meters in length, that's a bit over 15 foot. And he might weigh around 450, maybe 500 kilos. So he is certainly considered a large male saltwater croc. Now notice what Dan's doing there. He's splashing the water, but he is also standing at the water's edge. That is something that you should not do out in the wild if you are in areas where saltwater crocs occur. Now where they occur? Well, they're up in the northern parts of the country. They are very much a northern tropical species. They're found from about Rockhampton in Queensland, up the coast into the Cape, and right across the top end down into WA. So if you find yourself on holiday in Darwin or North Queensland, maybe even the Kimberley region in WA, it is extremely important that you do not go swimming, because you don't know that a saltwater crocodile is not there. They could be there, there's that potential risk, and so the safest and wisest thing to do is stay back from the water's edge, don't go near it, and certainly do not go swimming in areas where these animals occur. You can see how stealthy they are. A saltwater croc is a very large animal, but they're highly evolved and they're very, very good at sneaking around. Remember I said he's 450 kilos, and yet he does not make a single ripple or disturbance on the surface as he moves. We're going to get a closer look at that right now. Now the reason he can do that is due to all those lumps and bumps that line the back and the tail. Those are called osteoderms, or sometimes called scoops. And they create currents and countercurrents beneath the surface, which quite literally cancel each other out, allowing you very large male crocs like Elvis to move just inches below the surface, as we see here. And you'd never know it if this was dark, murky water where you typically find a croc living in the wild. Now I'm going to begin to disturb the edge of the water here a little bit. I might tap my foot a few times. And this is going to draw Elvis right to this spot. Now we've got a little bit of food for him here this afternoon. What I'm going to try and do is draw him out a little bit and give you a demonstration of what a croc might do out in the wild to a potential prey item. Just thinking about it. All right. Get over now. There you go. All right. He's going to swallow that bit of food and hopefully he's going to head back into the water. But what he did give you there is a really nice look at those jaws. He has some of the best looking teeth you will ever see on a croc anywhere, and his head alone probably weighs 60 or 70 kilos. Now, all crocodilians have a backward facing tongue. It's called a palatal valve, which means they can't open their mouth underwater. So what Elvis would do if he were to grab that piece of food and go straight back into the water, he'd swallow it with his head right up in the air, and that means he can swallow that bit of food, but not get a big rush of water down the throat. No one likes that. You don't like that up your nose when you're swimming. He doesn't like it down his throat. Now, I'm a bit worried here because he might just sit there and do nothing. So, I'm going to walk past here very carefully, very stupidly, and let's give the water a bit of a splash over here. I spoke before about those vibrations I was creating, quite reminiscent of something coming down to the water's edge to take a drink. And that's exactly what he would be waiting for out in the wild. A croc the size of Elvis, for 4.6 metres, he would be almost exclusively feeding on medium to large sized mammals. So kangaroo, wallaby, water buffalo, those are the sort of things that a big croc would be feeding on. Come on, Elf. He's being a little bit cheeky at the moment, but that's all right. If he's going to sit there, I can keep talking about crocs. Now, one thing a lot of people don't realise about saltwater crocodiles is we did almost lose them in Australia. Right throughout the 1940s, 50s and 60s, saltwater crocodiles like this were prolifically hunted for the skin trade. A lot of them were shot and their population declined by over 95%. In 1968, there was about 3,000 saltwater crocs left in northern Australia. That's it. Now, fortunately, by 1973, they were made a protected species, could no longer be hunted, and since then their numbers have made quite the comeback. These days we see about 260,000 saltwater crocs in the northern parts of Australia.
Come on. Come.
Come on, El. Come on.
Come.
Just playing a little game with us at the moment. That game is called Come Closer. You can play it, but you only get to play it once. Hey, Brenda, throw us that bit of food there and we'll see if we can use that to swing you. Oh. Alright. Come on, El. Maybe by showing this tantalising bit of meat, he'll swing around. Come on, El. What we don't want him to do is do a big swing around and land at our feet. I don't think he's able to do that from where he is. Come on, El.
El, come. Come.
Now, across the world today, there are about 27 or so described species of crocodilian. These include your true crocs, like we have here in Australia. We have two species. They are, of course, this one, the saltwater crocodile, Crocodylus porosus, and the much smaller freshwater crocodile, Crocodylus johnstonii. That species only gets to about 3 metres in length, and it's typically considered a fish-eating croc, really not a potential risk to humans. This one, of course, is. You also have alligators, caiman, and gharial found in other parts of the world. Now, he doesn't seem to be moving, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to get nice and close, give him a little tap. Go on, El. He's been on holidays, he's had a bit of food, and he's just gone, nah. Go on. Oh, no, there you go. All right. Now he goes back in the water.
Ah.
Always the way. All right, well, we might finish up there, guys. Elvis was a little bit naughty this afternoon, but that's all right. You got to see him get a little bit of food. Got to see a few naturalistic behaviours. Thank you very much, guys. We hope you enjoyed that. We hope everyone that's with us here at the park is enjoying themselves, enjoying the school holidays.
Woo!
We'll see you next time. Thank you very much for tuning in. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Elvis.